Yes, hello, distinguished viewers. Welcome to yet another enlightening edition of the Roundtable, the platform for stimulating conversations on issues shaping our society and our future. I'm your host, Moreni KJ Shobaleji, and today's discussion focuses on a serious matter that affects every community and indeed the future of our nation. Yes, we're talking about equipping youth for the future challenges. And you all know that Nigeria is blessed with one of the largest, youth populations in the world. But yet we still have a lot to deal with when you talk about this population. The question is, are we also, making good use of this population? Are youth truly prepared for the future? And are we equipping them with the right knowledge, skills, values, and opportunities to thrive in increasingly competitive global environment? And what responsibilities lie with government, families, educational institutions, the private sector, and the youth themselves? These are some of the critical questions and issues we shall be exploring today. And I have, let me just say, amiable resource persons joining, to provide insights to these distinguished, the issues we're discussing today. And I have distinguished personalities who are available, to also provide answers to many questions. First, I have joining us via Zoom, is an honorable and ambassador. Yes, Adekunle Oladeyinde, a respected public affairs analyst with vast experience in governance and youth development. So, and I also have, before I introduce the second guest, let's say good morning to our amiable ambassador who is joining us via Zoom. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Father, in the studio, and good morning, viewer. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. And also with us in the studio here is Honorable Chief Samuel. Yes, I put Honorable in his name because every respected individual should be entitled to be called an Honorable. Yes, I'm referring to Chief Samuel Ishola Chobukola, an elder statesman and a distinguished elderly person whose wealth of experience in leadership and nation building offers valuable perspective on preparing the next generation. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, I put honorable. You are honorable. You agree with me?
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for being part of the program, gentlemen. Yes, like I said, we're looking at equipping youth for future challenges. And, a lot of questions are there, where you are also thinking about this, where you are. You will understand that sometimes when you are talking about the population of youth in Nigeria, we are lucky to have the largest youth population. But of course, are we making adequate use? That's the first question. So when we talk about equipping youth for future challenges, what exactly should that mean beyond popular slogans and all of these things? Youth are the leaders of tomorrow. Youth are also, these are changing. People are now saying youth are actually the leaders of today. So let me begin with you, Ambassador Oladeyinde. Beyond these popular slogans that youth are the future of tomorrow, let's look at it really. What does it mean when you're talking about equipping youth for future challenges?
Yeah, thank you very much, Flora, and thank you once again for having me. I think when we are talking about youth as the leader of tomorrow, what we are talking about is that the youth we groom today. I just want to say the youth is the leader of tomorrow. The youth we groom today will be the leader of tomorrow. That is, if they understudy those in authority, if they understudy their father, their parents at home, if they understudy whoever that's up there, over there, and definitely they will learn the rope, and tomorrow they will be useful to the society. Let me take for example, like what Mr. President is doing today. It does not only make the youth the leader of tomorrow, but what he is saying is that the youth is a partner in progress today. That's what Achebe is doing presently with every different program he has prepared for the youth. He's saying, yes, you are the leader of tomorrow, but you can only be the leader of tomorrow if you partner with the leader of today. That is when you will be the leader of tomorrow. That is all I can describe the youth is the leader of tomorrow. That is a youth that is well groomed, a youth that is well prepared for leadership, a youth that is committed from now, then he will be the leader of tomorrow. So that we will be able to pass the baton to the youth that are coming behind us. You need to be mentored. You need to be enforced from now before you become the youth as a leader tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Oladende. You know, what does it mean really when you're talking about equipping youth for the future challenges? You know, you want to explain this further?
Yeah, like I've said in my opening remarks, that we're keeping the youth for future challenges. But if any youth does not understand it, his leader does not understand it, those up there, over there, how will he be able to face the challenges of tomorrow? It's a youth that is well trained, well groomed, well exposed in nitty-gritty of governance and leadership that can only be the youth, that can only be the leader of tomorrow. That's what I can say in that direction. And then, like I've said, if you see so many programs of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is directed at the youth mostly. We have never had it so good for a government to employ so much, to engage so much youth to a part of the governance. We have never, since independence, have been so good because he wants to train them to get prepared for leadership. He wanted to be committed. He wanted to learn the road so that tomorrow, when the position of leadership comes, they will not be a novice. They will have learned the road from the beginning. To me, that is a youth that is prepared for governance, a youth that is prepared for leadership, a youth that is prepared to do the needful tomorrow. When we, the leader, will not sit back and be watching that they are well trained. I want to tell something to my followers. Because I don't call them followers, I call them a leader of tomorrow. I will tell them that it will be my joy tomorrow. When I sit behind my television with my grandchildren, and there's some of the youth that are mentored, some of the youth that are trained, some of the youth that have learned hope under me will be doing exploits. And I'll be telling my grandchildren, this guy is this, he's one of my mentees. And it's the joy that because I pray for them every now and then, no matter the height I might get to in life, that all people, all followers, all the leaders of tomorrow that are following me will far greater than me. What am I talking about? It is when you are not selfish as a leader. It is when you are not greedy as a leader. It is then you can able to train a leader. For them, because we should all pray that they will be greater in whatever we do. The youth will be greater than us with whatever we do.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's so educative and insightful. Yes, we're actually saying that preparing leaders, equipping youth for future challenges. It's all encompassing. It comprises your ability, to equip them with needed knowledge, skills, to actually add value to the growth of the society. Yes, back to you here in the studio, Chief Shobokola. Let me ask. Nigeria today would say that our young people are prepared for the realities of the future. When you look at it, are we merely hoping they will somehow adapt to the situation? Is it that we are serious about keeping the youth for future challenges, or we are just having, as of today, if you look at the situation of today, would you say in total, holistically, that Nigeria is actually keeping youth for future challenges, or we are merely hoping that we are going to have a youth, or the number of youth that will actually adapt when time comes in the future?
Thank you very much, moderator. I want to observe that, in fact, for now, both the leadership and the youths themselves have not taken seriously any situation. And yet, in society, there are strata of people, the children, the youth, and the adults. Now we have decided to major on the youths. But for now, all the youths, especially when you take the youths from people of school ages, the lackadaisical lifestyle of school children, some just go to school because their parents want them in school. It's not because they are prepared for the school. They don't know what it means to be educated, whereas the Honorable the other time was saying education. And education is the basis of equipment. Education in society, education in knowledge, in school knowledge, education in skills, education in societal values, and all that. But the youths have not, in fact, identified anything. The higher echelon of the youths are fighting for political will, and they say, no, leaders of tomorrow, let's start being leaders from today. It doesn't work out like that. And all these fighting are nonchalant. Nonchalant in that if the current political dispensation decides to resign and put the youth there, you think they will make it? They will not, because they are not equipped. They don't have the wherewithal. For instance, now, technology has taken the whole place over. It's not a question of school knowledge. It's not a question of academic laurels. No! I mean, you see those academic laurels, there are so many PhD people, master's holders, who don't have a job because they don't have skill. And society has identified that. Now, to further complicate it, the robotic is coming into it, the AI, that you can send messages using the drone and other things in today's language. So, the youths are not yet completely prepared. We are trying to introduce them to this, but they are facing the other way around. They want political powers. They want political positions. Only for the money there.
Yes, they are just concerned about the riches of this world. They are really not ready to equip themselves with the necessary knowledge when we talk about, understanding the community, understanding the societies, the morals, what you need to know. Yes, I would bring you to a case that trended recently of a lady in Ibadan who feels, there was this culture of Ibadan where this Ololu masquerade, and the lady disguised, she is aware that female cannot see the masquerade. So she disguised as a male person. She went there, she took videos, uploaded on TikTok, saying that creating content, and at the end of the day, somehow we allegedly says that she was kind of bleeding, so she had to go and seek help from the Ololu. So she had to go through all these rituals and all of that to cleanse her and stuff like that. So these are things we are talking about, really, that okay, do we have the youth who understand the culture and tradition of the land? Do we still have the youth? Are we keeping youth who understand what it takes? Because all of these things are all important when it comes to taking leadership position, facing life challenges. So at this point, what do you think we should do? We are talking about education. Honorable is also talking about education. The system has been criticized for producing graduates who struggle in today's labor market. So how our educational system, how do we talk about educational system when you're talking about equipping youth for future challenges, and what other things do you think is needed to be done?
Our educational program have to be rewritten in the language of today's socio-cultural development. You see, the English people, the Western world has developed AI, and they are also bringing it back to us. We have our culture too. You understand our culture and take it off from there, blend the two, and see what you can make out of it, bring the Western culture into our own culture, and examine them and see the originality you can bring into it. For instance, in the past, we saw that Google, that is corn, dry corn, digged up and all that locally with groundnut. But today, people who make kuli, they make robo, they make all our local akara, our local desserts, and import them. And it's a hot thing there, and through it, they earn foreign currency. So we are bringing our own civilization into the center of the world, competing with the world, and we are moving along with the developed world, and so we will be joining them. Not to say, but to leave the fact that the world is a global village. So we all belong together, and so when we are talking our own, the Western world will not look down on us, and when they are talking their own, we can see what we can gain from there to upgrade our own culture. Thereby, those in the educational sector should be ready to rewrite our curricula and make it relevant to our now,
to the realities
to
of
the realities of this time,
okay,
so that these children will understand, they will follow. By the time you are speaking their language, they will be interested, and by so doing, you are retaining their thinking back from the gullible thing they're handling for now, and you are bringing them into limelight and developing them for the future, not just for making the money for making money's sake, but from developing society at all strata, and our society will be very pleasant to live in. Our culture will be relevant, and we also will be relevant in today's world.
Thank you so much, Chief. You know, we are also as well keeping pace with global realities. And to you now, Ambassador Oladende, you know, when you look at what the situation is now, the world is actually a global village, and a lot is evolving. You know, we are not yet there when it's talking about our youth meeting the global best practices in doing things, all things, you know, social, economic, and you know, morally, and all of that. So what are the most essential skills every Nigerian youth, if I would ask you, should possess within the next, you know, talking about 5 to 10 years, so that, you know, we'll also be able to match up, you know, talking about making things, you know, real for us in talking about the global best practices, and also, you know, meeting up the global standard?
Yeah, thank you very much. Like my colleague over in the studio said, so many innovations in tech, ICT. You see what this government is doing in terms of skill acquisition, in terms of let me take for example the Nigeria Youth Academy, who train our youth and also set them up with grant, digital work platform, and so other tech job that prepare a youth to match up and catch up with their global colleague. You see so many programs being run by this government, so many initiatives whereby about 41,307 youth to be trained in ICT. This is going to have value and ensure that this Nigerian youth is able to measure up to international standard, where they can stand where other international youths stand. This is one of those things that the president is doing. If you also look at the New Hope Creative Hub, like the one in Lagos, turning talent into sustainable businesses in music, in film, in tech, and design. These are part of the training that will prepare our youth. And the president is not only doing that, he also from these enterprises, he empowered them. I think the first 200,000 youth was being given about 1 million naira. It's a grant. It's not a loan. And then for startup, and another 500,000 for informal and informal sector businesses. What am I talking about? With all this encouragement, with all this support by the president, is preparing our youth for tomorrow to be a leader. Like I said in my opening, I said Mr. President is not only seeing the youth as leader tomorrow, he makes them a partner of today, so that to prepare them for leadership, to prepare them for tomorrow when they will assume leadership in this country, because no leader will be there forever. This is a thing Mr. President is doing in Nigeria to ensure that Nigeria youth catch up. If you look at it, so many Nigerian youth have excelled globally. Especially go to the US, go to Europe, go to Canada, you see Nigeria that is doing exploit. And they are able to do exploit because of the kind of infrastructure they have in those countries. If a Nigerian leave Nigeria today and go to Europe and go to America and also go to Canada, you see they perform very well, because the equipment on ground, the opportunity on ground is very wide. And that is the system, the renewal agenda concerning the youth. That's what the president is trying to do, to ensure it keep them with knowledge, it keep them with education. Let me say another example. Today, all the technical colleges in Nigeria is absolutely free. Not only free, including feeding, accommodation, and rest of it. And they are even giving them stipend.
Yes, maybe we should hold on for the network there. I was going to ask, Ambassador Oladende on one key, important. Okay, I think.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm back. So he's doing all this to prepare them for tomorrow. Because from today now, what are they doing now? Jamila is just 7 years old.
Okay.
He's not good for state. He's not 4 years old. This kind of preparation. Imagine, so as 4 years old minister. Tomorrow he will have learned the rope. He can become the president tomorrow. He can become the governor. He can become a senator. Because he has prepared for office, and the president is doing that. This activity we are.
Honorable Oladende.
The youth that will be tomorrow must be ready. From today, not tomorrow.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Oladende. Let's look at it this way, considering your stand since the beginning of this, program, you've been providing answers to various questions, and you are, kind of appraising the activities or the efforts of Mr. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in answering all the questions here. But, let's look at the fact that the world, like I said, is now a global village. We have an advancement in technology taking over. So, and look at it this way, with artificial intelligence, replacing some traditional jobs, would you say that at this point, would you look at the effort of Mr. President again and say that our youth, Nigerian youth are kind of ready, to be, to be in line with what this technology has to offer? Or are we sure that the tomorrow of our youth is kind of secured, talking about the advancement in technology and the artificial intelligence taking over? Is it that at this level, Mr. President has been able to put programs and policies in place, since your stand is to talk about what this administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done so far to equip the youth? Would you say so far it has been that, these young Nigerian youth on the pedestal of understanding what AI is and artificial intelligence, and they are ready to work in line with that?
Thank you so much. Let's look at it from this angle. Today, Lagos is the headquarters of tech in Africa, and one of the best in the world. Today, Subway in tech. That is one of those things that President is doing. Go and Google it and accept me. And don't forget that there is a kind of program that was introduced by this government, leadership and value. Mentorship and leadership program. Like the Tinubu young generation, where he provide solution to various issues that border on youth leadership. Groom them, ensure that every youth receives required necessary training to be able to match up, to be able to come up, to meet the level of the international standard. That is what brought about Lagos being the headquarters of tech and ICT today. No, we are making progress. There are other areas where the president has worked on that today. Nigeria youth can stand with other youth internationally. So, the issue of artificial intelligence and rate of tech or ICT is being addressed by this government from various angles, not only addressing them, it also provide necessary tools for them to match up, for them to be able to stand with their colleagues at the international level.
Well, it's a fact that Nigerian youths are doing exploits when it comes to, being side by side with the global best practices. But would you say this is part of the policies of President Tinubu that is cutting across, or we are looking at a self-development in the areas of what the youth understands and what they need to do for themselves? Because these policies you're talking about, these programs of Mr. President that you were talking about, will you say it's actually touching the ground? It's actually getting to the poor of the poor masses, or we are having this population of youth being able to stand side by side with the global best practice through their own self-development?
If you're talking about, there is nobody that gets self-development without being mentored. There's nobody that gets self-development without being tutored. Nobody can get self-development without being educated, without being influenced by somebody. It is when you have somebody who is influencing you positively, who is mentoring you positively, who is training you positively. It is then you can learn the rope from there. And say, yes, I have trained enough, I have received training enough for me to also look inside me and discover the lion in me, and discover the God in me, and discover the material, the peace in me. It is then a youth and self-development. It starts being trained. The brain of the youth or the brain of the baby is like a computer. It is what the program inside that they will be able to make use of. So because you don't see a baby, if a baby is born today and nobody talk to him, that baby will never talk. The baby will never talk because it is through this various program, so that opportunity is made available to you, that one can prepare them to develop themselves after they have received training. Not if you go to university, not all that you are taught in university is what you are going to make use of. You have to also train yourself, develop yourself. Me as an example, I'm a versatile personality. I can talk in any area of human health, not because I was taught this in school, but because I had to research, so that to get more knowledge. I research a lot, I read a lot, and that is why I can talk on any topic if I'm interested in. So it's because I've been impacted positively with some knowledge. It's because I've trained on that topic. It's because I've been influenced. I've seen people who are up there and they are also aspiring to even better than them. So what am I talking in essence? We all know that the future is digital. And then every youth must be trained to ensure that they prepare for that future. And then before they can be self-developed. You can't be self-developed without any training. Okay, you have to self-develop without having a mentor. You have to self-develop without educated. You see the requirement that understanding in whatever way to do.
All right, thank you so much for that contribution. Yes, we'll come back to the studio here and to you, Honorable Chief Shobukola. You know, employment and entrepreneurship, when you look at the situation currently in the country, you see that the level of unemployment is still a bit high. And, you know, there are agitations, there are, you know, conversations centering around entrepreneurship. They need to, you know, develop the youth through skills like you have rightly suggested that we need that skills to make sure that the knowledge and the skills together would ensure that you know, our youth are prepared for the future challenges. But unemployment remains a major concern. Is this a problem, you know, of a shortage of jobs or mismatch of skills or policy and you know, policy failure? When you look at it, really, will you say that at this point we are not equipping the youth, or maybe the skills is a kind of mismatch to, you know, the current realities?
The skill you mentioned is the in thing for now. There's shortage of employment. Government is not thinking of the other thing. We are thinking of the government job, the ages back, centuries back, and all that. The clerk sits at the desk, and all that. The areas have overtaken that. And the skill is the thing that is operative. And unfortunately, the youth too don't know that there is so much in acquiring skill. There are people who just will sit and develop themselves, but have skill. That was the case of a particular family. They had a set of twins. One got masters in engineering, another went to the technical Yalebe school at Abeokuta. And the two of them traveled to the Trinidad and Tobago. The one that has masters got a beautiful job. The one that has skill worked with a mechanical shop and earns 4 times that of the person who has an academic qualification, to the extent that he could employ his twin brother. It is the skill. And right now, the youths don't know that when you have skill and you employ the ICT, you are entitled to some payment from YouTube, but you don't get paid unless your followership is 1,000 and above. And for everyone, you get $1. So that by the time you have followership of 1,000, you get a followership of 1,000, you have $1,000 rebate for just your skill being patronized by the society. But the youths are not aware of this. So the earlier youths get used to the current language of building skill, no matter in whatever direction. You are not say particularly go and build engineering skill, go and build medical skill. Go to the skill of your choice and put it out there on the YouTube, put it out there on the Instagram, and you get remunerated only for having skill. I will give you an example. I was told that a particular ICT center trained some people, and one of the proprietors saw the best student and said, I will employ you. He said, okay, you can't employ me. You cannot pay for my employment. And the person who was just trained by them, and within a short time, he got the inkling and went to the YouTube, and he gets quite a lot of money around the time. So that is what skill building gives them, and that is the thing for now. Unless the youths reorientate themselves and rethink their lifestyle, it's not academics alone. You go into skills, and by so doing, you develop society. By so doing, many people will be involved. By so doing, government will now start begging people to come for their employment, for which people are now begging, applying with the every strain of iota of thinking in their faculty. But by the time they have skill, they will have outgrown that and be able to be self-sustaining and be relevant in today's world.
Thank you so much. Yes, let's quickly go straight to government now. You know, you are talking about the support for youth. Yes, it is, well said that skills is the in thing, and it's what the youth should also begin to channel their energy towards.
Yes.
But what practical support should government or maybe private sector, not just government alone, provide for young entrepreneurs to succeed? You know, our other guest on the other side, Ambassador Oladende, I've been talking about the effort of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, what the government have put in place. But the question is it actually getting down to, the needed, yes, the people actually need it. Is it getting down? Yes, selected few, some people are benefiting, but it didn't cut across. It has not gotten to everybody yet, because it's something that should get across to everybody. So what practical support do you think government or private sectors should give these young entrepreneurs, those who had acquired skills on their own, those who believe, like you've said, you gave two examples of twin. One actually, developed in the area of skill, and the other one academically growth is, kind of what he chose. And at the end of the day, the one with the skill was able to pay, double of what the other one with good education is earning. So let's look at it that way. In what area do you think the support is needed to actually encourage this entrepreneur to proceed?
What's the name of your organization here?
Ogun State Television.
Ogun State Television. We better go in-house. I want to use Ogun State government as an example of a corporate organization that has taken this thing very seriously. Dakwa, our state governor, has an ICT center that works, and the youths are the foundational stock of the ICT center. And it has attracted them. The government school at Wasemi is geared towards that. And the ICT center is on the way to Jebode while after the governor's office. Before you get to that is the thing. So they are imparting skill, especially relevant ICT skill, into youths.
Who are ready and
who in fact know about it. So the only thing that will answer your question is that government should be forthcoming in letting more people know, in advertising that, so that the relevant people who need it will know about it and further patronize that place. But that's a very good example that Ogun State government is laying, and it's working. because I saw online sometime that our governor had been awarded the best ICT governor in Nigeria, and that is how to start. So if the federal government's own idea is not reaching deep down, they should come and take example from Ogun State government. We have the answer here, and we are ready to further the answer so that it will reach the nooks and crannies of those who really need this skill development and advertisement.
Thank you so much. If you're just joining us, the program is still Roundtable on OGTV, and we're looking at equipping youth for future challenges. As we quickly take this short break, when we return, we're still going to enjoy more from my guest in the studio, Ambassador Oladende and Chief Shobukola, still here to be giving out answers to various questions bordering on the topic of today. We'll go for the break, and when we return, the program continues. Don't go away.
Fellow Nigerians, do you know that constituency projects are actually your projects? Do you know that constituency projects are funded by the federal government? Do you know that you can track release of constituency project funds for projects located in your constituency and follow up to know how they have been executed? Constituency projects happen because government does not want to leave any community out in development efforts. You have a responsibility to know what constituency project has been planned for your community, how much has been allocated for it, and whether value for money has been delivered. Take ownership of constituency projects located in your community. Protect them because they belong to you. Government knows about your needs and is planning for you. Government needs your help to ensure quality delivery. Know that constituency projects are actually your projects. Protect your constituency project. My constituency, my project.
For information on funds allocated to projects in your constituency, call 0800-2255-4272.
This message is from the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission and the National Orientation Agency.
Glad to have you back, and it's the Roundtable on OGTV, and what we're looking at is equipping youth for future challenges. How best can stakeholders, the relevant stakeholders, the government, private and families, community, can be, of help in making sure that we have youth who are ready for future challenges. And of course, we've been having in the studio Ambassador Oladende and Chief Shobukola, who have been providing answers to various questions asked. Yes, you can also be part of the conversation when it is time, maybe in the next few minutes. We'll display the phone number on the screen. You can also call us and let us have your contribution. Yes, as we continue on the program, Chief, let me come to you as an elder statesman. Yes, this is beyond, we are talking about values and character now, and this is beyond academic qualifications. When you look at it, academic qualifications is what we'll be talking about, technical skills and all of that. But how important are values, discipline, and of course integrity, resilience, and patriotism, and of course emotional intelligence? How important are those things that I have mentioned, talking about, discipline, patriotism? How important are they when you're talking about equipping youth for future challenges? You know, we have daring youths today. They are not even ready. They are not concerned about what culture says. They are not concerned about, you know, the norms, the values that is needed for a society to live in a society. So how important do you think this is, and how do you want to educate the youth who are ready to take up, you know, the leadership role in the future?
The home is the foundation of society. If homes stand well, society will enjoy it. And so our youth should first be subjective to their situations in their parents' homes. They should be obedient to their parents. They should be ready to learn. They should be ready to take instructions. They don't become masters the day they are born, regardless of whatever society you are born into, especially the children of the rich. Because all in their houses, they have help in everything. They have helping hand in taking care of their laundry, their meals, and taking them to and from school or to parties and all that. So they hardly do anything, and that is wrong. The parents should be very, very careful and be sure they train their children. It is when they are properly trained and they accept the training that they will enjoy what the future has for them. The ones they want to chase will chase them, and they will know how to apply them rightly. They will not, I mean, most of these children are either children of single parents, and the children of single parents are hardly trained. They take their own lives in their hands at the wrong time when they have been very young. That's why they go into occultism. That's why they take all this type of drugs. That's why they are available to be used by all those terrorists. They just invite them for pittance.
Unfortunately, single parenting is inevitable. That's why it's called a society. We continue to have it. So how do we go about, you know, solving the problems attached to it, as you have actually, you know, rightly said? You know, you are one of the opinion that maybe single parenting is doing more harm to the upbringing of a child than, you know, good. But of course, it is inevitable. So how do we go about, you know, things?
Our Ministry of Social Services has a big role in this matter. They cannot begin to go from door to door, but they can, through programs like this, through part-time training on regular basis, through age group instructions, redirect the thinking of children in society. Because these children don't just grow wings. They grow wings because their parents, I mean, that's rubbish saying in, I say rubbish because when I say it, you know, it is very germane. They say the thinking of the mother in the house is different from the thinking of the child. The mother is thinking of emotional things, and the child is thinking of the goodies of life. You can always, so you can see how it lands society. It is society that is the worse for it, because all of us are members of one society. And so to keep this society sane, everybody has to be sane, which is impossible.
Yes, all hands must be on deck.
So the ministry should do well to help us to redirect the thinking of our children and society. And again, the training of these children from the school level, they should see it. Some children leave home with 2 uniforms, the school uniform and their outwear. If they think they are not enjoying school, they will just put on the outwear and go out and perpetrate evil.
But we cannot just conclude. Now we have several of these products of single parenting who are doing well. You know, they have exceptionally well, some of them. Yes, to you, Ambassador Oladende, you know, away from, we're still talking about family and society, like my guest here submitted, Chief Shobokola submitted, you know, the society, the family has a role to play. So when I want to look at the whole scenario, when you want to look at it, and Nigerian parents parents doing enough to prepare their children for future realities, or we're still, raising children for yesterday's world?
I can't hear that. Please come again.
I say our Nigerian parents, yes, we're talking about family now, the effort of families in building or in keeping, youth for future challenges. So I'm asking that our Nigerian parents, parents generally, doing enough, to equip or to actually train their children, the children that would, at the end of the day, being the best as a future leader, training them to the realities of this world, or we're still training or raising children for yesterday's world?
Yeah, parents have more responsibility to play than the teachers, than the government in training their children and bring them for leadership. Because if you look at it, a student go to school from 8 a.m. to say 2 p.m. If he adds their lesson time, maybe left to 4 p.m. Let's say maximum 8 p.m. 8 hours in a day that will be in school. And then some parents want the teachers to do all their responsibility. It cannot work like that. And then some parents don't even bother to look at what their children are doing in school. Some parents put their children in hostel. They don't bother to go there. They don't even bother to go there. Even at home, they don't have time to check what they do in school. And at every opportunity, they push the blame on the government. I think parents have larger responsibility in grooming a child, because they spend a larger time, larger hours at home, 24 hours. A student who is not an hostel child will be with his parents for almost 16 hours every day. What are we doing as a parent to groom our children? Not only that, the attitude, the character, the way the parents behave at home also will contribute in grooming these children, in mentoring them, because it is what they see you doing, it's what they are going to do. So parents have a larger role, a larger responsibility to ensure that their children are well trained.
Okay, when you look at it,
are well mentored.
When you look at it,
that person will take all the responsibility.
Honorable Oladende, when you look at it holistically, will you say so far when you want to have statistics of the improvement or the level of growth and development around Nigerian youth, would you say the parents are also, can you say you score them that okay, on the average doing enough so far?
They are not doing enough. I can say on the average they are not doing enough. I can say maybe 40% of parents are doing enough. But larger percentage of parents are not doing enough. Why? Because they believe teachers should take up their responsibility.
But you believe governments are usually... But you believe governments, especially this current government is, genuinely bringing out policies that would also empower young people. Will you say governments are also doing enough?
These governments have done so well in that direction. But to me, there is still room for improvement. Because this government has created so many opportunities for the youth, so many opportunities that no one will be left behind. I have mentioned, talk about NEM fund, over 96 billion has gone into it. I talk about Atenga school that is funded free by this government. I talk about the ICT tech, I talk about grant. I talk about other loan opportunity which does not have interest to ensure youth excel in Nigeria. So many programs under this government for the youth. There are more than 6 different programs. You can key in into all these. There's not let anybody behind. I'm telling you, this government has done so much in that direction. But to me, to whom is giving,
much is expected.
More is equally expected. Let our youth key into further program, further opportunity of renewal agenda of Mr. President.
Thank you so much. Yes.
There will be an area where they can work in this renewal agenda for the youth, because the focus of the government is mostly on the youth.
Thank you so much. Yes, we're having a kind of support from both divides now. You are talking about the effort of the federal government, and I've heard Chief Shobukola also talking about the effort of our own governor here, Prince Dapo Abiodun, in terms of technology development of Nigerian youth. But I want to ask you, Chief Shobukola, yes, if you have the opportunity of, there is still room for improvement, really. Yes, we're talking about efforts of government here and there at all levels. They are doing well. Yes, we can give them a pat on the back, but there are rooms for improvement. So when you look at it, if you had the opportunity to advise policymakers today, on let's say, let me use 3 urgent reforms that you would, recommend, that you would want them to have in preparing Nigerian youth for the future. What kind of reforms will you be suggesting for policymakers?
For policymakers, I would say policymakers and government should remember our technical college at Diaba that is all embracing.
Talking about Ogun State.
Ogun State now, that reaches down to the grassroots. Those who are learning petty skills and all that.
Carpentry, bricklaying
and electrical. They should be brought at par with the new technological center that is for the elites in society, so that the society can be holistically taken care of. 2, I would, like the ambassador said, I will ask policymakers to encourage parents to be more available at home for their children. It's not a question of sending money, especially our schools that take their students from outside Abeokuta, especially Lagos.
Technical skills should be developed. That's a big reform that government should look into.
Yes,
making sure that there are policies in place.
And parents, it's not just throwing money at children. They should be available too.
Thank you so much, Chief Shobukola. Our time is fast spent on the program, and we need to go. And Honorable Oladende, thank you also for being part of the program today. And as we conclude today's discussion, remember, the future does not simply happen. It is deliberately prepared for. Keeping our youth goes far beyond formal education. It requires relevant skills, sound values, visionary leadership, innovation, resilience, and the needed environment that rewards hard work, creativity, and excellence.